Brad Johnson Show. I'm turning losers like you into winners like me. You're about to enter the winning zone. It's not often that I have someone on this show that is the Brad Johnson Show, my show, the podcast that you're listening to right now, that is just a wow, okay? I mean, there's some people that you look at and you're just like, wow, I'm definitely one of them, but my guest today is also most likely one of them. And I will let you be the judge of that, though, as I bring on somebody who, man, just getting to know this guy. He's funny, he's witty, he's no drama. You know me. I can't stand the drama. So having this guy on here, I mean, we're talking. He's a motivational speaker. He is a book writer. In other words, he's an author. He's also like a musician and like other things, as well as Emmy award winning. And I'm not even kidding this time, people. Like I was with the last guy that I said was Emmy award winning. This is Mr. Clint Pulver. Clint, welcome to the show, my man.
Thanks, Brad. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it is
here.
I know. That's what everybody always says. And I totally understand because this is a happy place. I have a sign over there. It says this is a happy place. So that is where we are right now, Clint. I'm just so stoked to be talking to you here today. Oh, man. And just to know that we're going to be bringing some hashtag wisdom truth bombs, dropping them on the heads of the listeners. So Clint, let's start with you. Hello.
Great. Hello. It's a pleasure.
I know.
You're kind of a big deal, Brad. You're kind of a big deal. I've been nervous about this show for weeks, and
it's understandable.
Yeah, you're a big deal.
Yeah, it's understandable. So, Clint, though, this is, as much as it's about me, it's kind of about you, but mostly about me. But, you're the guest. So I want to lay out the red carpet here for you, Clint, and just give you a chance to tell people a little bit about you. I already kind of gave a brief bio there, but let's talk about Clint, the man, as in Clint, you, who you are in your essence of your spirit being.
Dude, I love to play the drums, Brad. Drumming has been my life for a long time. So I think, my spirit animal would be a drummer. I don't even think that's a real thing, but that sounds right.
Yeah, I think they do actually have some of those animals in jungles.
The drumming species.
The drumming species. Yes, that is incredible. So drums, where did that come from, Clint? Was that just a pent up rage that you had to get out on hitting things, or what was that?
A little bit. Yeah. I was the kid that growing up, I always had a hard time sitting still, and I would just move. I would tap. Everybody obviously got annoyed. If you're sitting in a classroom and someone's clicking their pen or they're tapping their foot and you're like, do it one more time. And something bad is going to happen to you. And I was that kid. I was just always moving and I got in trouble and everyone would call me the twitcher and the tapper. And I had a teacher and his name was Mr. Jensen and he told me to stay after class. Oh. And I thought, this is it. Like I'm getting kicked out of school as a 10-year-old. And he pulled me to the back of the class after everyone had left. And he said, listen, he said, I've been watching you and you're kind of the problem kid. Like you're the kid that everybody talks about. You never sit still. He said, but I've watched you and you'll write with your right hand and then you'll tap with your left hand. And then you can switch the pen and you'll start writing with your left hand and then you tap with your right hand. And he looked at me and he said, I think you're ambidextrous. And I was like, no. I was like, I'm Presbyterian. He's like,
yeah,
no.
Exactly.
No. He's like, that's not what it means. He said, can you tap your head and rub your belly?
Okay.
I was like, yeah. I gave it a go. I could do it. And he looked at me and he said, I don't think you're a problem. I just think you're a drummer. Most of the time people hear that and they go, what's the difference between those two things? There's no difference there.
No difference.
But in all seriousness, he created a moment by literally, he reached back in his desk and he opened up the top drawer and he reached inside and he took out my very first pair of drumsticks. And he put them in my hands and he said, I want you to just keep them there as much as you can. And it totally transformed my life.
Amazing.
And I've been playing drums for 22 years.
Clint, that is fantastic. 22 years of hitting things with sticks. I love it. That
Yeah.
is so cool. I too am a bit of a musician. I play multiple instruments, but yeah, the drums. There's just something so soulful about it. I feel like you can just really get into it. My main instrument is a sitar, but yeah, we should do a duet sometime. I could see like a full album, just sitar and drums. Like,
I'm in.
oh my goodness, yes.
I'm in. You know how to get a hold of me.
Yeah, let's make this happen. I love this. Okay, so let's talk about where drums took you, because I think a lot of people, they look at their art, they look at their thing that they enjoy, the passion thing, and like, there's no way I can make a business out of this. But for you, the drumming took you places. Now, talk a little bit about where you've gone, why you've gone there, and what methods of transportation you took in order to get there, besides cars.
Yeah, a lot of airplanes.
Okay,
Yeah, I would fly on the airlines a lot.
that
You know,
fits.
yeah, aviation is my
Mm-hmm.
preferred method of travel, at
It
least from
is
state to
pretty
state.
fast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we'd do that, and yeah, I've had the opportunity to play the drums with Carrie Underwood, Tim McGraw, the Blue Man Group. I played with for a while.
Hmm.
I've been on America's Got Talent. That was pretty cool.
Wow.
Um, yeah, man, it's taken me a few fun places.
That is amazing. I was also on America's Got Talent. Actually, they never aired it. I guess they said that it was too much for TV. So I think
Inappropriate.
kind of what. Yeah, they were just
Inappropriate.
kind of
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
there'd be no competition if we let you on. So,
makes sense.
um, yeah. Oh well. On to bigger and better things. So, playing with Carrie Underwood, playing with Tim McGraw. These are names of people that have a lot of money. So, getting into that sphere of influence, so to speak, just talk to us a little bit about that. I think there's a lot of listeners who are just down and out. They're just losing at life. It's depressing to even think about it. So I just don't. But if someone were to be in that situation, what would you say to them about upping their game when it comes to their network? Because I mean, just based on the experiences you've had, that network of yours, just let's talk about network.
Yeah, network is important. I was a wrestler growing up, Brad,
Hmm.
and not like WWE, like
Okay,
the other kind of wrestling.
gotcha.
And I had my dad was my wrestling coach, and he would take us to the wrestling mats every Friday night to watch the varsity high school wrestling team.
Hmm.
And I'll be honest, like every Friday night, it was like, oh, this is kind of a drag. I was like, Dad, it's Friday night. Like that's date night. Let's go hang out with the friends. Why do we got to go and watch the wrestlers? And I'll never forget my dad. He looked at me and he said, listen, he said, do you want to be a great wrestler? And I said, yeah. I said, I do. And he said, then you got to hang out by the mat.
Hmm.
Then you got to hang out by the mat. And it's kind of
Yes.
a funny thing because I was like, that makes no sense. But it is kind of true if you think about it. Networking, right? Creating a board of mentors. Who are the people that you want to be like? Who are the people that you want to associate with? Who are the people that you go, man, they're living the life that I want to live? And I think
Exactly.
it can be kind of important to associate with those people. If you put like a hard to catch horse in a field with an easy to catch horse, you usually end up with two hard to catch horses,
Hmm.
right?
Interesting.
Yeah, right. So networking, right? Who are you associating with? Who are you hanging with? Hang out by the
Hmm.
mat if you want to be a great wrestler.
You were just a man of much information. It's just equestrian knowledge and drumming knowledge and other knowledge too. This is incredible. So people just listen to that. Really listen to what Clint just told you. As far as the fact that you have to have people around you that you can look up to, and maybe they're not physically around you. Maybe they are in the spirit around you, like I am. Except I'm probably not around as much as above, so there's kind of that, but just someone to look up to, like me, and maybe to a lesser degree Clint. I mean, there's so much going on here, so much winning going on that you're not a part of, but you can pretend to be a part of it from afar, and
Find
that
the
can help
angels,
you.
Brad. Find the angels, right? There's the physical
Yeah.
angels and then there's the
Hmm.
spiritual angels.
Okay.
Find the angels in
Okay.
your life.
Do you do you know where they live?
It depends. We'll talk
Okay.
off. We'll talk off air
Okay.
about that.
Sounds good. Okay, so Clint, I love this story that you're coming up with here. This is so good. So, what I want to talk about next is Business Q magazine. So, top 40 under 40, corporate keynote speaker. I mean, just all the things you have accomplished. When it comes to putting yourself in the right situation. So we talked about a little bit about network, and sometimes just those relationships impact where you are. But talk about just how you set yourself up for success in some of these areas. I mean, getting into a magazine, that just doesn't just happen, unless you're just completely bug the heck out of the editor for months and months on end. Then it still might not happen. But let's talk about that a little bit.
Dude, Brad, have you ever seen the movie E.T.?
Uh, E.T. I don't believe so.
Brad, are you kidding me? Like
Uh,
E.T., like the extraterrestrial, the movie about the alien?
I pretty much solely watch inspirational videos from Tony Robbins. That's pretty much my only, and Rocky. Rocky is the other movie that I watch.
Brad, you're killing me. Okay, so I want you to go and I want you to watch E.T. tonight. E.T. is like a
Okay.
crazy, crazy, crazy thing. It's an amazing film. It's really, really awesome. Uh, it when it came out in theaters, it derailed Star Wars. It literally knocked Star Wars off the box office and became the number
Hmm.
one movie for 11 years running in the country. The number one movie. Steven Spielberg directed it. I can't believe you haven't seen this, Brad.
Hmm.
There's a really cool concept though with this. E.T. is this little creature, this little alien, and that film grossed over $6 billion in just selling ET toys
Wow.
because the creature was so cool, because the
Hmm.
creature was so well designed. And this guy named Carlo Rambaldi designed ET, and he went through 300 iterations of designing this creature that
Wow.
ultimately became like one of the
Sounds
most iconic
exhausting.
characters in the world that
Ah.
Brad doesn't know about, but you will know about. And when you watch the movie, it'll all make sense. And the
Okay.
point is in entrepreneurship, you've got to design the ET. Like that's
Hmm.
how you do it. That's how you create some success. You design it. Most people never design a life that's worth living. They live that life by default. They let life happen to them, or they
Hmm.
sit back and they kind of wish and they dream and they think, what could happen? What could take place? And oh, wouldn't that be wonderful? But they don't take the time to design the details, to design
Hmm.
the ET. I
Yeah.
know it sounds a little
Yeah.
weird, but that's how I did it.
If we made ET stand for entrepreneurial training or something like that, I think that might work better.
Entrepreneurship
Because
trademark. I love it.
there you go. Your entrepreneur. How are you designing your entrepreneur trademark? That's good, Clint. I love that. I love that. And people they live by default instead of the envisioning things and actually picturing the private jet and the private island and the private jet on the private island next to the private yacht. I mean,
And the six
that's
cars. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
six. I'm not stopping at six, Clint. I mean, my sixth
Uh,
garage, maybe
yes,
sixth
perfect.
airport hangar.
Now you're
That's
getting it. Now you're
now we're
getting it.
getting it. That's it. That's it. Okay. So Clint, on the idea of designing the life that you actually want. If somebody is just looking around and they're like, okay, but my life is okay. And I see this all the time, drives me nuts. But people who are okay with mediocrity. Now, what would you say to somebody like that in that situation who's just like, it's good enough?
They should start smoking. No, I'm just
Mm,
kidding. I'm just kidding. That's bad advice. Uh,
mm.
mediocrity. I mean, I guess define mediocrity, Brad.
Mediocrity. I would define it as something less than basically less than where I'm at is pretty much that's pretty mediocrity ish.
Yeah. Well, I don't really know totally where you're at, but I mean, if where you're at in your life and you're happy with where you're at in your life, then good for you. You know, happiness, I think,
Mm,
is kind of an important thing. And if you've achieved it, even though others might think that your life is mediocre, if you're happy, I don't know, there's something worth considering there,
hmm.
right?
Uh, yeah, I mean, I can see where you're coming from, but I just don't see where you're going, sadly. So, Clint, let's jump over here. I've seen in a lot of the videos that you put out, it seems that you not only drum, but you drum with a blindfold on. Now, to me, I love doing things dangerously. My mother always told me not to run with sharp sticks. I think pounding things with sharp sticks with a blindfold on is probably on that list. So I love the danger side of things. Let's just talk about what is that all about? Where does that come from, and why? Why?
So I'm actually blind, Brad. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. As in, like you don't need the blindfold to not see.
No, it's just a prop. It's just a gimmick.
I
Yeah.
see.
Hmm.
Gotcha. Very okay. Just kind of a style statement then.
Totally. It's branding,
Love
right?
it. Love it.
You know that.
Yeah.
You know that. Yeah,
Oh,
branding.
yeah.
You've got to brand yourself.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I usually do the ascot more than anything. But
That works
I
too.
can see the blindfold. That's definitely it's something. It's unique. It's unique. I love that. So Clint, let's jump over to your book. I'm a big fan of books. I don't do actually a lot of reading of them. I generally have my VAs do that for me. But you have a book. Tell us a little bit about I Love It Here. So this is a book about loving it when you are there. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. The book is based off of 5 years of research that I conducted as the undercover millennial. I
Hmm.
am a millennial, and I would go into an organization as someone who was looking for a job. It's kind of like undercover boss without the makeup.
Interesting. So you don't
And
wear makeup.
no makeup, no makeup,
Okay.
just the blindfold.
Good. Good to know. Okay.
And I
I
would
guess
walk
you
up to an
couldn't see it
employee,
anyway.
and I would just say, "Hey, what's it like to work here? I'm thinking about applying."
Hmm.
And then the employees would tell me everything.
Hmm.
And we created a book that was based off of their perspectives. And we were able to get firsthand real data behind how great leaders were creating organizations their people never wanted to leave.
Fascinating. Yeah. No, turnover is the worst. It's just people coming and going. It's no loyalty these days. Let me tell you.
Hard to
So
find good talent.
tell
Dang
me about it.
millennials.
Harder to find
Millennials.
any talent.
Don't
I
get me
know.
started on the millennials.
Millennials. Jeez. So that is fascinating. Where did this idea come from, Clint? And I think that is a great thing to explore because a lot of people have ideas, but then a lot of people just don't.
Have ideas?
No, they don't have ideas at
Yeah,
all. It's
like the
the one. Yeah,
millennials. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Those millennials.
like the millennials.
Yeah.
Dang millennials.
Hmm.
The
Yeah.
the idea came from when I was in a mastermind group in New York City, and
Mm.
I met with a CEO who thought he was just killing it in his business. And I was in his store, and I looked around, I saw all of his employees, and I said, "I wonder if they would say the same thing." So
Mm.
I just went up and I asked them, "What's it like to work here?"
Mm.
And at the end of all of those conversations, 5 out of the 6 of his employees said they would not be working for this guy in his store in less than 3.5 months.
Wow.
And the perspective of leadership versus the reality of the employee experience was completely different, night and day different.
Mm.
And that's what started the Undercover Millennial program. I kept thinking to myself, what if leaders could actually know what their people really think?
Yeah. No,
And that's how
and
that's
that's
how it all
the
started.
skill of mind reading that most people haven't developed. It's very effective, very helpful. But if you don't have it, if you don't have the ability to read minds, I would definitely recommend going to clintpulver.com/book and getting Clint's book. As far as I love it here, and yeah, I think that's a brilliant point. It's really important that you have a culture. In the Brad Johnson Enterprises, BJS Enterprises, we have a culture of winning. So I mean that is what we focus on, and that is what my people that work for me focus on. And I have no doubt they would all say they love it here because what's not to love about winning?
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
okay. And this book has received garnered some high praise. I mean, we got John Maxwell making some comments on this book. We got Daniel Pink, who it's very feminine last name, and then we also have Stephen Covey, which good old Steve. I mean, that is so cool. I didn't know we knew all the same people, Clint.
Right. It's a small world, Brad. It's a
It
small world.
definitely is when you're in the stratosphere of business, like you and I are.
Conquering the world as an entrepreneur, that's how it goes.
Exactly.
It's all about who you know, right?
Oh yeah, and who you know is so important these days, because if you don't, then
then you don't know anything.
Exactly, and that's just depressing. So, Clint, finally, I just want to wrap up with, you are in the speaking realm as a keynote speaker and all that sort of thing. So, I'm just seeing some of your videos and stuff. You bring so much passion and stuff to the stage, and a lot of people are just even scared to think about going on stage. So, why don't you talk a little bit about that? Was it just in your nature that you're just like, I'm just going to get up on stage, or were you just like super good at it like me and just able to get up there without even thinking about it? Or kind of what was the process there for you getting so comfortable and so energetic and impactful on stage?
I still get nervous. I still get nervous every time before I go up on stage. It's never an easy thing for me. There's sometimes those speakers that are like, I never get nervous. I don't know if they're being honest.
I am.
Yeah, I still get nervous.
Interesting. So, what do you find most effective for conquering the nerves, so to speak?
Well, I mean, most people would say, but picture the audience naked. Nah, that's never really worked for me. For me, I try to always remember, Brad, that every audience member is asking the question, "Let me know when it gets to the part about me." That sounds a little weird, but it's true. And that's really helped me as a speaker, is to remember that it's not about me, it's about them. It's to get up there and to make sure that my content, my message, whatever it is that I'm delivering, gets to the part about them. It matters to them.
Yeah.
And I think that's helped a lot.
I love that. Yes. Definitely, thinking about the audience and then thinking about what are they thinking about me? Because I think that's really, I think we could all agree what really matters there. Man, Clint, I feel like we could just keep going on and on and on. There's just so much to talk about. We didn't even talk about your movie career. I mean, there's so much to go on here. I do want to hear your Emmy story, because, I mean, listeners to the show have heard my Emmy story before, so I don't want to go into that right now. But why don't you talk to us about your Emmy story and just, I mean, that people look at that and like, whoa, that's the thing. Like, if I could do that, that would be, kind of my pinnacle moment. So tell us a little bit about your pinnacle moment there with the Emmy.
They're really scraping the bottom of the barrel. They'll give an Emmy to anybody these days. I created a film, a short film about the teacher that changed my life, Mr. Jensen. And it's on YouTube. You can go check it out. It's called Be a Mr. Jensen. And the Academy heard about it, and it aired on television, and then it went through all of the process of being nominated, and then I don't know how it happened, but I won. So there it is.
Fantastic. What? Sometimes people just do random things, and it's like, where did that come from? So for you, making a film, like most people think, that's for Hollywood directors, and that's for awesome people like Brad Johnson to make the films of the novels that they've written, or things like that. But for you, where did that come from?
Like how to film?
Just the idea, like what would possess you to be like, I should make a movie?
Yeah, it was a short film, so we had so many people that heard the story, they loved the story, they liked the story, and I said, man, wow, how can we spread the word, right? How can we let more people know about this? And so I made a movie.
Fascinating. I love it. Clint, this is so cool. I think there's a lot that people can learn, mostly from me, but I don't think you slacked off terribly much here in this interview. So people go and check him out. It is clintpulver.com. It's like Pulver without the I's. So Pulver eyes, but without the eyes.
Yes.
ClintPulver.com.
Blindmandrumming.com.
There you go. Blindmandrumming.com. And we didn't, like I said, so much to touch on that we didn't touch on. Clint, might have to have you back. This has just been fantastic. Love it. People, go check them out. Get the book. You don't want to be one of those people who's like, everybody loves working on my business, and yet they don't, because you got to know. And if you don't have the mind reading capabilities like I do, then you definitely need Clint's book to get that figured out. So, Clint, thanks for coming on. Anything that I didn't touch on or didn't ask that just, didn't care about enough to ask, that you want to make sure that the audience hears?
I mean, we can talk about my life as a polygamist later. I'm from Utah, so I mean,
okay,
yeah, we can talk about that on another show. But
all right,
just love your people, love yourself, love your wives, all the things. We'll talk about it next time.
Yeah, next time, definitely, we'll hit on that. All right, thanks, Clint. We'll talk to you later. Thank you, people, everyone, so much for listening. The audience is just skyrocketing. I mean, all these high-quality guests, they don't just come on for no good reason. They come on because it's my podcast. So, keep listening. Keep sharing the show. Keep checking out the video course. The link is still down below. We're taking applications for how long? I don't know, because it might not be very long. So you better get on that. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll talk to you next time. Yeah.
You've just listened to an episode of awesomeness. Now, go out and spread the awesomeness and help others fix the mess that is their life and help them stop being a loser and start winning in business, health, and their personal life by getting them to listen to The Brad Johnson Show. Book your face, tweet your tweets, and Insta your grams at Brad Johnson Show. The Brad Johnson Show. Winners only.
When I was in school, I absolutely hated writing. It wasn't until I was a bit older that I came to understand the power of words. If you're a business owner, you understand that power too. A business blog, when done right, can drive sales, increase revenue, and get you more customers. But as a business owner, you probably don't have the time to do all that writing. Plus, if you're not a copywriter by trade, you might feel like you're just kind of throwing words out there and they're not actually accomplishing anything. The good news is, there's a simple solution. Check it out. I call it the ultimate blog post checklist for businesses with online stores. This checklist will allow you to write better, more effective articles that convert readers into buyers. It's full of easy-to-follow examples to get your creativity flowing based on experience of nearly 1 million words written, and best of all, it's effective on any type of article in any industry or niche. I've successfully used this exact checklist on topics from pool table reviews to investment advice. Tired of spending tons of time writing stuff that doesn't convert? This checklist will change that by giving you highly effective blog posts and articles that transform readers into paying customers. Go to invicta.enterprises/free checklist and start saving time and transforming your writing now. That's invicta.enterprises/free checklist.